Hi YouTube and welcome back to my channel. Before you jump into the conclusion that I am judging the way people look, I would like to remind you that the purpose of this is to highlight the behavior behind the extreme choices women of a particular character type can do. You most likely never listened to any of my thoughts before, so allow me to recommend another video based on the same research that explains the behavior behind women with bright colored hair. And also, for more information about this topic, please check Dr. Tom LaHue's YouTube channel. I was struggling to remember the videos I heard people wondering what's up with tattoo women that seem to make a lot of trouble. I mean, quite a lot of trouble.
No.
Who matter?
Yeah, y'all skulls are thicker.
Okay.
Your baby's different.
Okay.
Y'all are not us.
Okay. Who matters? White power matter, you say? Look at this bitch.
Like that.
Hey, yo.
And you tried to fuck me.
No, I didn't.
Nevertheless, since my flaws are identical with the woman you're going to see, I figured to try and explain what is behind these type of choices. In other words, why would anyone choose these things for themselves, and why is it almost a bad idea to get involved with them? Note that my beliefs are never black or white, and I massively dislike to put everyone in the same pot. So I am aware that not all women with tattoos have the same character traits, but pretty much the majority. And now, let's get straight off into the video.
Hey, Mom.
Oh, hey, darling. I've come over. Oh, thanks, Tom. I've come over to have a look at some photos.
I'm into one tattoo. Yeah.
I know.
Script. 18 years old.
What did I say? No more.
Yeah.
And then what happened?
I've sat through one major cosmetic procedure, which was a breast augmentation, and then 4 minor cosmetic surgeries. My eyebrows tattooing, my lip tattooing, my cheek fillers and my lip fillers. 5 years old, I'm from Brisbane, Australia. I've had close to about 600 tattoos now, including my eyeball tattoos, my tongue split, and I don't plan on stopping anytime soon. At 15 years old, I got diagnosed with severe clinical depression.
She never saw herself as being beautiful. She didn't see herself through my eyes. A lot of people go through things in life, but for me, it's about coming out the other side and being able to be your true self.
At 16 years old, I got my first tattoo. The feeling that I felt with that tattoo was almost like a negative energy release. My journey has started when I was 16 years old, and that was when I was diagnosed with severe clinical depression. A lot of my tattoos have been like a sign of therapy.
Now, you might ask yourself, how can one really love to be depressed? Well, we don't love it, but it becomes comfortable. It's what we've always known. As a child, I was always emotional and had the tendency to withdraw every time I was upset. It was my coping mechanism. Like Amber said, once you hit puberty and your hormones levels are skyrocketing, as mostly a bandit type for a character teen, I got depressed. So being depressed is so familiar that later on when you're an adult, you still cope with life's struggles the same way you used to as a child.
What's happened to me since last time you guys filmed me? Wow, it's been a good year, I think. I've gained a lot more tattoos, a lot more stretching in my ears. I actually punctured them quite recently, and it just punctures the skin out of your ear, leaving a perfect circle.
It's pretty obvious that she is still using tattooing herself as a sort of therapy, a sign that she's always being comfortably depressed. Instead of dealing with our childhood traumas, we end up using addictive behavior wrapped up as therapy.
That's a satanic symbol, so I'm a Satanist. Obviously, everyone knows that. I like to promote that on my body. It's all about respect. You know, you respect me, I respect you. Satanism is a lot about individualism and not being afraid to express yourself and really putting yourself on show, you know, like what's the point of living a normal life? It's boring.
The ordinary is what they avoid. That's it in a word. The ordinary is boring to them. They can't find any energy there. Why would someone want to be like everybody else? So their conversion comes precisely when they can eat the ordinary, right? When they can sit in the circle like everybody else, and wear a white t-shirt that isn't especially shocking or showy, and not say something that'll make everybody notice them.
Look, white eyes. That's just weird.
It's beautiful.
No, it's weird.
So the need, as you can hear it, is the need to be special. In some ways, fours are easy to spot, because they refuse to be one of the hoi polloi. They refuse to be one of the crowd.
Even though most of the people that have the same character traits tend to alienate themselves from the world and want to be left alone, the way they treat their body is screaming for attention.
I can't even begin to describe to you what the feeling was like. The best thing I can give you is once the eyeball was penetrated with the ink, it felt like he grabbed 10 shards of glass and rubbed it in my eye. That happened 4 times per eye. That was pretty brutal. Unfortunately, my artist went too deep into my eyeball. If your eyeball procedure is done correctly, you're not supposed to go blind at all. I was blind for 3 weeks. Yes.
What do I think about my daughter's blue tattooed eyes? Where do I start? I cried. I said a few choice words, as anyone would do. What the hell are you thinking of? Why would you do that to yourself? Why would you do that to yourself, knowing that there is I suppose, a danger to it? As we know as a parent, some kids will just do what they want to do, regardless of what we say. But I brought her into the world with the best skills that I could give, the best that I could give her. It's just for me to be there and go along the journey with her and prop her up and love her.
And mind you, going to the extreme with your lifestyle and body modifications more than often happens to adults that have had some sort of trauma or suffered rejection or even abandonment from one of their parents. In women's case, I'm talking about the daddy issues.
How much have I spent on tattoos? My mom likes to cry every time I say this number. About $50,000. Yeah, but that's just on tattoos. So my procedures, such as my breast augmentation, my eyeball procedure, my tongue splitting, and my BBL, which is about to happen in a few months, I've spent about 70 grand.
And how can you continue living your life running away from yourself, if not with some support from someone as hurt and lost as you are?
Oh, Sam's here. I'm gonna go grab him.
The hell?
Hello. What do you reckon?
I don't know.
It's terrible, isn't it?
Yeah. Am I concerned about Emma getting more body modifications? Not really. I support it. I let her do what she wants to do. Yeah, it makes her happy, yeah.
I've watched 2 episodes with Amber and she doesn't seem to mention any father figure. After a little bit of more research, it seems that her father wasn't present, and as a child, she got the message that it was her the reason that her father didn't stick around.
How I was raised, now, not a lot of people know, but like, I am an only child. My mum solely raised me by herself. She pretty much took on both roles of a mum and dad. I didn't know what my dad looked like, his name, or where he lived until I was 16. And you know, that was a little bit rough, like, not gonna lie, but now I know why I didn't meet him till I was 16. Asshole.
Now, as an adult, her self-worth has deteriorated even further, leaving her ashamed of how she looks.
She never saw herself as being beautiful. She didn't see herself through my eyes. A lot of people go through things in life, but for me, it's about coming out the other side and being able to be your true self.
At 16 years old, I got my first tattoo. The feeling that I felt with that tattoo was almost like a negative energy release.
I cannot even begin to imagine what is in her mum's heart, but I can definitely recognize my loved ones going alone with my addiction when I was so lost. Looking back, I realize now that there is a fear in people's hearts that they might lose their lost one once and for all. The Type 4 character has a talent at manipulating and inflicting the fear of loss into the few people that have had the patience and love to stick around with an addict. If you haven't dealt with an addict before, I must tell you that the self-pity and reasons involved in excusing our behavior can go as far as you can imagine. Obviously, we can't make it on our own, so we end up dragging other people that will maintain our narrative so we can feel good about our choices. However, deep down, we know we're screwing it.
I've supported her because I could actually see the transition, the growth, and how it's made her come to who she is today. I think over time I've learnt to actually understand that it doesn't change you, it's the society's perception on it. And I think that's, we're brought up to believe that you can't be doing this to yourself, but I think with the way it's changed...
You can't be doing this to yourself and get a good job.
No.
You can.
I can't expect you to live your life through me or how I want to live my life, because it'll never make you who you are.
Thanks. I appreciate
So
that.
don't get me emotional. Man, it's all good. I believe that though, really.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
Thanks.
it's all right.
Appreciate it.
I know. I love you.
Love you too.
I chose to look this way, and everyone has their own opinions. You know, everyone knows what beauty is in their own eyes. You know, you see cultures stretching their ears and stretching their necks, their lips. It's all different ideas of what beauty is. And that's okay. That's fine, because we're only human. But I would like to see in the future a bit more open-mindedness, like when it comes to body modification and tattooing. Tattooing is becoming more accepted in the community and within the workplace, but body modification has a long way to go.
To translate this, there's always a contradiction between this attitude of, my body, I do what I want, I don't give a fuck what others think, beauty is abstract, or any other narrative out there that's based on excuses for low self-esteem and childhood trauma, and the thirst of being accepted and loved, tagged as open-mindedness when it comes to one's choices when modifying their body. It's true, as social animals we can't help but care about what society thinks of us and how they treat us, because that's built in our DNA. We're meant to respond to the group's feedback because long ago, rejection from our tribe meant starvation and ultimately death. I always like to highlight the fact that Homo sapiens, aka humans today, haven't evolved since 200,000 years ago. We're dressed, fed better, and we can speak. And perhaps the levels of consciousness and awareness is what has changed the way we behave and relate to the world. But our body as an animal hasn't changed, and the way we react socially and to the environment is deeply rooted in us. So the narrative of don't care what other thinks about how I mutilate my body is a lie. A continuous lie that we tell ourselves and dangerously share to the youth.
Look, I know it sounds very materialistic that I want to change myself and all this stuff, but imagine hating yourself so much that you couldn't even look in a mirror. You know, you couldn't step outside your house. It was horrific to live through. Sorry.
Whereas it's true that in every one of us lays a warrior. Unfortunately, as long as we repeat the vicious addictive behavior we got hooked on because of the unfairness that has happened to us when being innocent, we aren't actually really taking it. Rather than failing us and the world by being stuck in our character's coping mechanism.
I don't plan on getting any more body modifications that are extreme in that matter, so no more tongue splitting, no more eyeball tattooing, but I will be getting a procedure called a Brazilian butt lift. In terms of tattooing, I'll just be getting completely tattooed, like covered. My goal is to be completely covered by the time I'm 25.
She's saying that she doesn't plan on getting more extreme body modification like tongue splitting and eye tattoos, which she already did. So there's no way she can do it twice. She did it. It's done. However, she will get a procedure called Brazilian butt lift, which can also risk her life and body even further. And she will finish off by covering her entire body with more tattoos. This is a sign that she'll never be at peace with herself the way she is, and that by continuing to cover her body with black ink will take away the fact that she can't stand herself. If only the self-hatred will stop when she's 100% inked.
Do I always understand what she's doing? No. But the question is, am I proud of her? Yeah, I am proud of her.
So I'm on track. I'm doing pretty well so far.
Unfortunately, Amber is not on track. Even though she meant it about her tattoos, I mean it regarding her well-being. After more extensive research, I found out that she has been diagnosed with BPD and schizophrenia, and she is on medication.
Praying devil's hand. Don't mind my shakes. I shake really bad. Like, extremely bad. It's just my medication.
And now she's also risking jail due to drug trafficking. If you ask me, there's no surprise. Since she was 16, her choices seem to have gone worse and worse, and the $120,000 spent on her body modifications could have been well spent towards getting the therapy she really needed. There was no reason for her to change, as in nothing is challenging her narrative. Her mom seems to communicate she is proud of what she has become. Her boyfriend seems to think her face sucks without tattoos. And he also accepts her body modification as long as that makes her happy. Translated means that he wants to be accepted for his body modifications, which means that he doesn't want to risk his narrative being challenged either. Her friends are tattooing every inch of her skin. The new feminism narrative tells her she is brave for putting herself out there and going through life-threatening procedures. Basically, like any other addict, she's being crafty and has created around her the world that allows her to go ahead with whatever she chooses to do to herself regardless of the consequences. Some people are driven by fear, like her mom. Some people are driven by the same narratives she's driven by, like her peers and boyfriend. Back to the title of this. So, why are women with tattoos red flags? From my experience, it is really difficult to have any genuine relationship with someone that hasn't had a relationship with themselves first. It is almost impossible to build anything in the future with someone who is stuck in their past. And even worse, if you dare and try to challenge their narrative. Tattoos are just highlighting which are those people. Does that mean that addicts don't deserve to have worthy relationships or to be loved? No. They're worthy of love as anyone else, but by choosing to behave the way they do, is going to keep away exactly the person they need and wish for. To wrap up, yes, people have and are being abused every second, but in the end, it's rather our responsibility to deal with the emotions that have been triggered after the abuse has taken place. Spending our life lost in addictive behavior is our choice, and we, our loved ones, and all the ones we encouragingly promote our way of being while being addicts, pay the price. That's it, YouTube. I hope you found this useful and educational. Feel free to drop a comment and tell me more about your experience with addiction or any other thoughts and ideas, if you will. The purpose of this video is to educate people and highlight the flaws and mistakes I found within myself. Please do not look up the people shown in this video to bully or spread hate comments. This is not the values I stand for, and I do not wish to build an audience based on cowardice and trolls. I take it you're a smart person if you clicked on this.